Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Deus Ex Game of the Year Edition. Now, obviously, this is not even close to a new release, but the sequel to Human Revolution was announced a little while ago, and it just the original Deus Ex has been stuck in the back of my mind ever since, and I thought it might be a little bit fun for us all to go on a bit of a nostalgia trip and play through the first level on the Statue of Liberty. To those of you who have not played this game, it's worth looking at, especially if you have an interest in... what's the word I'm looking for here? Like, game design and gaming history, because this game does a lot of stuff that was crazy revolutionary for the time. And I've just realized I'm talking as though I was there, on the beaches, but I did not actually play this game until like 2009 or 2010. It came out in 2000, I believe. Yes, no, it did, and I have a super interesting story to tell about that in a minute. Yeah, but I played it for the exact reason I just specified, that I was interested in, gaming history. It's one of the like, landmark games of that generation, that era. It's one of the, really early amalgamations of genres, the incorporation of shooter and RPG elements. It's got a very, very complex story, and a lot of it is, very genre-thematic conspiracy theory stuff, but there are elements of philosophy and political philosophy in there that are interesting, if, not exactly the world's most sophisticated take on a lot of them. But, yeah, I've literally just booted this up. I looked in through the settings a little bit ago, but I cancelled out, and I thought it would be fun for us to go through and look at some of these old gaming conventions together. I should mention this is the Game of the Year edition, so the fact that it can go up to the 1600 by 900 is the max resolution. That's not a product of the era this game was released in. That's a later mod that's been made. Oh yeah, we should talk about this actually. This thematic menu in the color section here. Ugh, my god, look at that. But yeah, this pale grey on a slightly less pale grey. It's just so eye-strainingly difficult to read. But it's so cyberpunk. Yeah, I often look at stuff like in Star Wars or whatever, where you'll have like the evil Sith starship, and all of their like holographic stuff is like dark red on a different dark red, or like pale blue on a on a kind of an aqua. Those weird kind of holographic color selections, and you're just like, who the fuck designed this? Like, imagine trying to read that in a battle situation. What the fuck? And it's not even talking about, like, colorblind people. Red on red? Yeah, that's a very cruel thing to do. But, yeah, do some good things to read. So a lot of these settings I'm going to change, just so that they're... Like, because I imagine this is tiny on the recording as well, just because of the huge resolution. So, hang on, what do we got here? Menu transparency off. Oh, God. Already that's so much easier to read. Color schemes. Blue and gold. That's kind of ugly. Cops. Cyan. Desert Storm. Dried Blood. Yeah, there we go. That's kind of muted, but it's also got a bit of readability in it. And we'll do the same thing on here. Yeah, this was back before the drop-down list. Okay, but this is the fun part. Let's have a look at this stuff here. Fire weapon, left mouse. Alright, cool. Ahead of its time. That's pretty cool. Use object, right mouse. No, we're going to change that to F. Turn left and right. Yeah, there are turn left and right buttons because, as you can see down here, mouse look was not the default option. Yeah, this was back in the days where you used to push buttons on a keyboard to turn your character around. Strafe. Hold down this button to strafe. Reload. Semicolon. Semicolon. What the fuck? I'm gonna change that to R. From look up. R was on look up. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Now that we've, messed around with that a little bit. But that's a bit of fun. So yeah, here we are, ready to go. I'm going to be starting a brand new game, and yeah, we're going to be talking about Deus Ex and what it feels like and what it does well and all of that junk. Oh, we get to change JC Denton. JC Denton's name. My code name is JC Denton. What should my real name be? God, let's give him a cyberpunk name. Like a really cyberpunk name. Cole... McStubbins. No. Slythe. There we go. My name's going to be Cole Slythe. Oh, shit. Alright, so now I have to do my thing here. So I don't play this, like, bang bang shooty shooty kill kill generally. I go for the sly approach. But I think we should go upgrade computers, upgrade electronics, and upgrade lockpicking. I'm already trained in pistols, that's good, so I don't have to upgrade that any further. Oh, you can change his appearance too, I forgot about that. Ooh. Now, you have a brother in this, and I don't know if changing your appearance changes the appearance of your brother as well, but we're just going to go with the default appearance, I think. Keep things classic.
Your appointment to FEMA should be finalized within the week. I've already discussed the matter with the Senator.
I take it he was agreeable?
He didn't really have a choice.
Has he been infected?
Oh yes, most certainly. When I mentioned that we could put him on the priority list for the ambrosia vaccine, he was so willing it was almost pathetic.
This plague, the rioting is intensifying to the point where we may not be able to contain it.
Why contain it? Let it spill over into the schools and churches. Let the bodies pile up in the streets. In the end, they'll beg us to save them.
I've received reports of armed attacks on shipments. There's not enough vaccine to go around, and the underclasses are starting to get desperate.
Of course they're desperate. They can smell their death, and the sound they'll make rattling their cage will serve as a warning to the rest.
I hope you're not underestimating the problem. The others may not go as quietly as you think. Intelligence indicates they're behind the problems in Paris.
A bunch of pretentious old men playing at running the world. But the world left them behind long ago. We are the future.
We have other problems.
UNATCO?
Formed by executive order after the terrorist strike on the statue. I have someone in place, though. I'm more concerned about Savage. He's relocated to Vandenberg.
Our biochem corpus is far in advance of theirs, as is our electronic sentience, and their ethical inflexibility has allowed us to make progress in areas they refuse to consider.
The augmentation project?
Among other things, but I must admit that I have been somewhat disappointed in the performance of the primary unit.
The secondary unit should be online soon. It's currently undergoing preparation and will be operational within 6 months. My people will continue to report on its progress.
We've had to endure much, you and I, but soon it will be order again. Not better than kings. Gods.
So there's a suitably conspiratorial thing. Oh, cool. My mouse look is default. There we go.
Heads up, JC. Your brother Paul is on his way to meet you at the dock. The NSF is raiding the island and shots have been fired. I repeat, find Paul. I will monitor your situation from HQ.
Alright, so what do we got here? We got a pistol. That's probably super loud. A taser. A med kit. And my keyring. Oh, hey, Paul.
I thought you were in Hong Kong. Welcome to the Coalition, JC. I might as well start using your code name. Think I'd miss my brother's first day? Didn't think you'd have a choice. What's going on? The NSF. They hit one of our shipments. A few of them got away, but we trapped the rest in the statue. What are we waiting for? Looks like a textbook assault. The NSF took one of our agents hostage. The bots are holding the perimeter, but my orders are to hold back and send you in alone. I think someone high up wants to see how you handle the situation. All I've got with me is a pistol and an electric prod. I don't mind a test, but UNATCO better issue some hardware. Remember that we're police. Stick with the prod. It'll stun your opponents or knock them unconscious. A non-lethal takedown is always the most silent way to eliminate resistance. Just in case, though, Manderley wants you to pick an additional weapon. A sniper rifle, a GEP gun, or a mini crossbow.
The mini crossbow. Now, the GEP gun is like... It's like a plasma pistol, but it's like explosive. The sniper rifle would be great if it was silenced, but it's not, and so I'm going to go with the crossbow.
The crossbow. Sometimes you've got to make a silent takedown. Good thinking. With these tranquilizer darts, you'll have another non-lethal way to take down an enemy in addition to the prod. I get the idea. What's the first move? I'm going to give you a map of the island. If you can get to the North Dock, a UNATCO informant will give you a key to the statue doors. He responds to the code phrase, iron and copper. You could avoid a lot of fighting, though, if you found a back way to the statue. I'll see how it looks on shore. Your primary objective is the makeshift command center the terrorists have installed at the top of the statue. But don't forget about Agent Herman. We think he's being held on the ground floor. What are my orders when I reach the command center? Interrogate the leader. We don't yet know why the terrorists would risk an open assault.
So, now we have the mini crossbow. How do I get into my inventory again? Yeah, and there we go. We've got all of the things up top. Goals. So, the NSF team seem to be directing the attack from the statue. Get inside and locate the threat. Meet the informant at the North Docks. He has a key to the statue. One of UNATCO's top agents is being held inside. Break him out and he'll help you against the NSF. So, first thing we got to do, because this is an old school game, quick save. Now, let's talk about, I mentioned before there was a thing about the date this came out, and I knew it was before the end of 2001. So if you look around, you can see the skybox for the New York skyline. And they put this together, but they didn't have enough RAM back in the day to do the whole skyline all at once. So what they did was they took a photo of half of the New York skyline and doubled it up. Yeah, and it doesn't... Is that the exact same image as the one that's behind me? They might have changed it for the Game of the Year edition. But they doubled up half of the New York skyline. So they got the half with like the Empire State Building, but not a lot of other things. And one of the things that was missing from the skyline was the World Trade Center, the Twin Towers. When some fans like noticed this, they're like, oh, there are no Twin Towers. It's such an iconic part of the skyline. Because this game came out in like I said, late 2000, early 2001, something like that, before the September 11 World Trade Center bombings had occurred. So some fans pointed it out, and they were like, oh, that's interesting. Why isn't that there? And, you know, the real reason was because they didn't have the RAM to put it in. But as a sort of a lore explanation of why that chunk of the skyline was missing, the developers said that between the day the game came out and the day the game was set, which is, I think, is somewhere in the 2050s, terrorists had destroyed them. And it's kind of chilling because, like, a year later, that exact thing actually happened. So it's an interesting little fact about Deus Ex and how everything's really terrifying and messed up. Now, it might seem like a strangely out-of-place thing to talk about, but terrorism is a central part of the plot of Deus Ex. So it's not as weird as it seems. Okay, now, can I punch? I can't remember. Ah, crowbar. Gordon Freeman. Yes, binoculars. Haha! And a lockpick. Perfect. We need this stuff. So, I'm fairly certain the crowbar is a silent takedown, but luckily we have quick savey type stuff to talk about this, to help us with that. I was talking before about how I was not part of the original... You know, I wasn't one of those people who played this game when it came out. I wasn't there when all of the stuff that we're seeing here was completely innovative. I went back... Oh, hang on. In transmission.
Everywhere, JC. Your orders are to shoot on sight.
Ah, fuck.
Informant on the North Dock can get you inside the statue. Look for a bomb. Identify yourself with the phrase, iron and copper.
Alright, I'm pretty sure that was scripted, that there was nothing I could do to not get seen by that guy. But so we're just going to keep going, as if none of that ever happened. Yeah, prod. But yeah, no, I played this game after a whole bunch of other games came out since it. And so, like, you know, I was playing this, and you'd find the crowbar, you'd feel the way, like, the whole thing moves, and you're like, oh, this is why Half-Life 2 was like Half-Life 2. Okay, we're gonna wait for it, because I don't know if that guy's...
I didn't see a uniform.
Stealth. Gotta go stealth, guys. Gotta do stealth. Be stealthy. Okay, here we go.
All clear.
Here we go. Here we go. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you.
Crouch behind cover.
Oh, that killed him.
Remember that a headshot is a lethal takedown.
Okay, quick load, guys. Quick load. I want to do a non-lethal run. It's been so long since I played this, I forgot that bashing someone with a crowbar would kill them. I need the baton, I think, is the non-lethal weapon.
What's your take on the situation, Corporal?
Oh, this is new.
Lots have them bottled up, sir. We'd go right in if it weren't for the whole back order.
How'd they get one of our agents?
Gunter went rogue on us. When the order came, he wouldn't pull back. Now you get to bail him out.
Fucking Gunter. This is like a classic Gunter move, that. But yeah, it's a really, really interesting game. Narratively, it's really atmospheric, very, very classically cyberpunk. You know, people walking around in trench coats and noiring it up in a sci-fi universe. So yeah, the Charger has ammo, right? And I think it's, yeah, I guess it's 4 charges to a clip. Yeah, no, I need to get a baton. Now, this game's really, really sensitive in what it counts as, like, a knockout from behind versus just bashing someone. Because if you hit someone from behind, it's like a clean knockout and they go down silently. But if you hit them from, like, the side or something else, then... yeah, and it can be very, very particular about what counts as a hit from behind. What else we got? What else can we talk about? Yeah, no, I was talking about atmosphere and narrative, right? So pretty much the whole game is set at night. And it's all that, you know, like I was saying, all that classically cyberpunky, noir-y type stuff, which is awesome, yeah? It's very stale today, but when you go back to a game that's so deliciously kind of pulpy in that way, it's just really a lot of fun. Now, one of the things about Deus Ex is its narrative is very complex, yeah, and that's part of the, you know, part of the genre. Like, that's deliberate. There's like plot upon subplot and people conspiring to do X, Y, and Z, and it's all very involved, yeah. And even though the aha, I got a baton.
Walk slowly to stay quiet and crouch behind cover. Or if you have to get your hands dirty, remember that a headshot is a lethal takedown.
Yeah, that was another good thing about the game, that headshots were lethal. Alright, so I'm pretty sure that the baton, if you hit someone from behind with the baton, that's a knockout, like a clean knockout, if they're not augmented. So yeah, sorry, I should clarify. When I say augmented, this is like a cyberpunk future where everybody has, like, not everybody, but all of the police and shit have run. Oh, is he gonna come around? Is he gonna turn around there? Get around the corner. Get around the corner. Okay, I got him. I got him. Bang! Yeah, knocked him out. Now, I thought you could pick up bodies, maybe? Yeah, you can. There we go. So I can put this body where nobody's going to see it. And for now, I'm just going to put it here because there's a guy coming. So, hang on. So yeah, I was talking about how the game is really complex in its narrative, and that's awesome, right? It's exactly what it's supposed to be in that way. But there are a lot of, like, the sophistication of the narrative is not actually that great. Like, visually and stuff like that, they communicate all of their themes and ideas really, really well. A pepper gun? What does that do? yeah, I guess it's just a blindness thing. Like, it just makes guys harder, like, they shoot you less well. Well, quite frankly, if people start shooting at me, I'm doing my job wrong. Because I'm going full stealth, baby. And, speaking of which, time for a quick save. It's back in the era where you do that every 30 seconds. So yeah, sorry, 15th time's the charm. Narrative complexity versus narrative sophistication. So yeah, the atmosphere and the visuals, all of that stuff, the fact the game's set at night, the way people dress, the gravelly way in which they talk, obviously all of this suits the thing really well. But a lot of the voice acting in this game is actually kind of poor. I say poor, dated is probably a fairer term. Because, you know, I mean, this is in 2000, right? A lot of games didn't even have voice acting at the time. But yeah, a lot of them were... I mean, because I think... God, I wish I could remember when all of these games came out, like, off the top of my head. But, like, Knights of the Old Republic, for example, was not too much later, and it was a vastly superior narrative in terms of characterization and things like that. This is far less about characters. This is far less about, like, that kind of story than it is about just hard plot. You know, it's all about, like, ethical things about, you know, social control, and that's awesome. Like, the themes in these kind of games are amazing, but you compare it to even, like, you know, a later game in this. Fucked that up, guys. Hang on. Go down. Well, nobody seemed to notice, so we're just going to run with that. I don't even think I took that much damage. Oh yeah, one of the things this game does, I just remembered this, is you take damage to different parts of your body, and so you can, like, hurt your leg, and then you can't walk properly, or you'll, like, limp. So that's actually kind of fun. What else is there? Yeah, but if you compare this to Human Revolution, which is obviously, it's a reboot, it's not really part of, it's not even really fair to say that it's part of the same series as such. A lot of the stuff about that I was talking about before, like the strength of characterization and how those characters represent what they're standing for, like what am I trying to say here? So, in a game like this, you'll often, or a story like this, you'll often get, like, characters that represent a worldview, or will represent, you know, a particular philosophy or a particular theme, yeah? And so if you're talking about, like, Human Revolution, David Saraf represents, you know, capitalism and commercialism, whereas Taggart represents, like, a more conservative kind of approach, and he also, you know, like, stands in for other stuff. And that's all spoiler-free stuff. I'm not talking about, like, oh, when the big twist comes or anything like that. That's, like, right off the bat, those two characters are very clear what they're meant to be, yeah. And characterizing, like, the nuances of how those characters... The nuances in creating those characters actually is very, very important in how they represent the themes in which that they sort of stand in for. And when it comes to that kind of sophistication, this is where this game kind of falls a little bit flat. So some characters are better than others. Paul is pretty good, but you get a lot, like Gunter and Agent Navarra. You'll see Gunter later on, but it's like, what is this? Like, this big German dude who's just a big German dude. That's like his whole thing. Yeah, like, you meet the boss of Unatco. You saw the two guys in the opening. They weren't crazy well kind of acted or characterized. And then you've got, of course, J.C. Denton himself, who just he literally sounds like a robot sometimes. This first level is a level that I'm intimately familiar with it. I'm very familiar with this level because, like, every 18 months, you kind of go, oh man, I should play Deus Ex again. You crack it out, you play the first level, and then you never touch it anymore. because then you're like, oh, you know what actually might be fun is if I play a game that was invented this century. But yeah, it's quite familiar. Now, oh yeah, there is a compass in the top left there. I was trying to remember if there was a compass. But there's a lot of really cool stuff in this, like overworldy type stuff. Oh, those two are in a pair. See, I wish I could talk about this game more in depth. Like, I'm not trying to hold back from spoilers on this because, seriously, the game literally came out, what, 15 years ago now? If you're not going to play it, and, like, the speed it would... If it was a book, yeah, and someone said, oh, it came out 15 years ago, that wouldn't be enough for me to turn off the spoiler hold. But with games, tech moves so quickly and stuff like that. You know, like, if someone said, I haven't read... I don't know, what's a book that, like, The Hobbit, don't spoil it for me, I'd be like, yeah, no, fair enough. I mean, if someone said I hadn't played Deus Ex, don't spoil it for me, I wouldn't. But, like, even The Hobbit, I'd be cautious about spoilers because it's a book, right? You engage with it today in the exact same way you did in the 50s, whereas, like, this game, right, like there's so many conventions of gaming, and gaming's evolved in so many different ways, that there are so many barriers to entry that become all the stronger just because of age. Although it is very doable. Like generally when I have a game like this and I'm like, hey, you should play it, a lot of the time my recommendation is just put it on the lowest difficulty. Just put it super, super low. And just easy as fuck, just so you can get a feel for what the game is like, you know? And, you know, the themes that did don't get seen. Oh, shit. Oh, I'm fucked. I'm fucked. Oh, I'm gonna get seen. Quick, get down there before the guy turns around. No, I'm done. It's all over. Oh, guys, I'm gonna get through it. I'm gonna get through it. Bang! Yeah, buddy! Alright, so I got me some pistol ammo.
This power box must have been damaged in the raid. Don't cross through the arcs. I'm also picking up an EMP field here. If you're not careful, it'll suck away your bioelectrical energy.
Yeah. So I'm going to read this data cube. Yep. NSF001, password, smash the state. Now, I'm fairly certain... Yep, it copies all of that stuff into your notepad for you. So what's this ladder do? Multi-tool. But there's also a has suit on the wall there that I just see. Yeah, there we go. So I can put on... So here's a classic example of the multiple viable ways of approaching shit. Oh, hang on. Yeah, okay, cool. So, hang on, I'm going to put that back down. I can either use my multi-tool to bust through this box, yeah. It'll take, and it tells you, like before, it'll take one tool. I can put on the hazmat suit and run through it, or I can do a little bit of this one, where I can get up here on the forklift, jump over, and just walk past the whole thing. Again, like that whole, oh, play how you want to play, multiple paths to success, like that's such a trite thing to say in modern gaming now. But again, at the time, like this was one of the first games that did that and did it well. Yeah, it wasn't like, oh, you can stealth if you want to, but, you know, you can stealth if you want, or you can, hang on, I'm going to grab this. Or you can fight if you want, but it's like, no, fighting is actually pathetic. What you need to do, like, you'll die in 2 seconds, you actually need to stealth. Like, this, you actually could successfully... you could actually take different paths. I remember a long time ago, I think Yahtzee did a piece on this, and, you know, when I was a younger man, I was a lot more interested and enamored by Artsy than I am today. I think he's significantly less spectacular than he needs to be. And a lot of his humor now is basically... I'm probably losing, you know... I'm probably alienating some people here, but a lot of his humor is very much that, oh, this was so shit that here's a really strained, elaborate metaphor about bowel movements and semen on biscuits and shit like that. You know, when I was younger, that was quite funny, but it's tired now. Like, the novelty of that has worn off. I bring Yahtzee up because he did say something quite insightful about Deus Ex, you know. And he said that there's, you know, Deus Ex is a true hybrid blend of like shooter element of an FPS and an RPG, yeah. Rather than a much more kind of contemporary trend of taking a shooter and adding a couple of RPG elements. And the thing that he felt was the distinguishing kind of point between those two things, an FPS RPG and an FPS with RPG elements, is that in an FPS RPG, or in a true RPG, how you, like, as you progress, as you get further along in the game, certain things should become less and less viable based on how you've built your character. Yeah? Whereas in something that has RPG elements, you kind of start off good at everything, like kind of good at everything, and you can make yourself a little bit better at some stuff, but there's really nothing locked out to you.
You might be able to avoid some of the security by entering this way.
Yeah, here we go. Here's another classic. Choose an alternate path. You need these metal crates to get up here. So hang on. We're going to go stand up. We're going to go ponk. Now I also... Oh, I didn't even need to do that. There's a metal crate right here. Let's see if I can't get around this. Yeah, you know what? Quick load. I was being reckless. But, sorry, I was talking about what Yahtzee said. Yeah, and, in this game, you can... Like, if I put all my points into weapons, then I'm not going to be good enough at hacking late game to actually be able to pull it off, yeah? If I put all of my points into swimming, then I'll be good at nothing. Yeah, whereas opposed to in, like... I'm trying to think of a game that has... I'm trying to think of a shooter that has RPG elements. I can't think of one off the top of my head. But in a game like that, you're kind of, yeah... You're always able to kind of do everything. Mass Effect. Yeah, Mass Effect is a good example of that. Yeah. I say Mass Effect like Mass Effect 2. Because you can put none of your points... Like, no matter where you put your points, you're always great at combat.
You might be able to avoid some of the security by entering.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I love Mass Effect. It's a great shooter. And, like, you know, when we talk about RPG... Oh, fuck, I'm doing the same thing again. When we talk about RPGs, there's things... Like, you know, strictly what we're talking about is a game in which you play a role, you know. And so, I mean, what that means is... Oh, I'm going to snipe him this time. I'm going to get him. Oh, no. I forgot about that. Oh, I need to meet that bum. Why am I doing this now? Yeah, I need the, I need his intel, man. And the thing is, I probably don't, but I want to get it because it's a smart way to play. Like, I probably know from my memory whatever it is he's planning on telling us. But yeah, we'll have a look at that. So that robot, I have no hope of going up against that thing unless I get like an EMP grenade or like a rocket launcher or something, and I'm not planning on, you know, like if I can just sneak around the thing, why wouldn't I? So I should mention part of the reason I'm playing this is, like I said, they've announced the sequel to Human Revolution, and I really liked Human Revolution, although, you know, the ending was kind of a pile of shit. But, you know, what game doesn't have an underwhelming ending? yeah, as I said, they announced the new Deus Ex a little while ago, the sequel to Human Revolution. The sequel to Human Revolution, sorry, Human Revolution itself I thought was quite good. It did a number of things better, quite frankly, than even the original Deus Ex in terms of narrative. It made it a lot more... Because this talks about themes that are very relevant to us, but it does it in such a removed way. Yeah, like everything is so conspiratorial. There's like this is such a post fall of the world kind of atmosphere. Like so many things have happened between now and this time in this world that make it a little bit more difficult to immediately relate to. Whereas Human Revolution was a lot closer to home because it was talking, you know, it was right around that whole 99% thing with Occupy Wall Street and the market crash and like that whole question of like, what is capitalism actually doing to the world? Yeah, like, do we really need to severely rethink the way we organize our finances? And you know, there's that whole question of, you know, corporations are more powerful than the government and all of that kind of stuff. And because of all of that, and that's where I talk about the narrative sophistication thing. They communicated it more immediately to me as a player. Yeah, the point of their whole narrative, right? So yeah, Human Revolution was quite good. The trailer that we're looking at, I don't know, like it looks like they're just it looks like it's just a sequel. It looks like it's more of the same. I don't know what the themes are supposed to be now that they've really confronted ideas of transhumanism, and that's another big thing. Like in Deus Ex, the original Deus Ex, the one I'm playing now, this one, everyone's transhuman, but everyone's it's not an ethical question anymore. Like, that's all happened already. Whereas in Human Revolution, like, they cover the whole idea of, like, well, hang on, what does this actually fucking mean for the world? Like, that's... Like, everyone's just going around getting robot arms now, and everyone's just totally fucking cool with it? What the hell? Anyway. Yeah, they brought out that new trailer, and, you know, that was part of what triggered it. But, also, they were talking about... I started listening to this new podcast recently, 28 Plays Later, with Chris Straub and Mike... and no, not Mikey Newman, that's Morning Rush. Chris Straub and Paul Verhoeven, one of my countrymen. And it's a very interesting podcast. They talk about games, really. And sometimes they're old games, sometimes they're new games. I've talked about, like... a bunch of old Star Wars games, and they've talked about Bloodborne and a couple of things like that. And they're only like 3 or 4 episodes in at the moment, and already they've hit all of my nostalgia buttons, and they gave me the bug. I've got to go back, I've got to play KOTOR again, I've got to play not Human Revolution, I've got to play Dark Forces and TIE Fighter and all of them. These are games that I've never played, but like they've given me that infectious vibe, and I thought it was very important that I give them the credit they deserve as having triggered this foray into nostalgia. So this is our dude. I'm going to put my gun away because if you have guns out, they talk to you differently. So I just want to be like, what's up?
Time you showed up. You with Philbin?
I get a cut for bringing him over.
This is a classic example of the wonderful voice acting in this game.
The more elite troops, they're the ones.
The more elite troops. But yeah, I was talking about 28 Plays Later. I thought, you know, I ought to give them a shout out. They're a lot of fun, that podcast. Paul Verhoeven's okay. Chris Straub, though, is someone I'm a huge fan of. He's very quick, and he's very good at satire and irony. And while we're on Chris Straub, everyone should check out Brood Hollow, his horror webcomic. It's pretty great stuff. Yeah, it's like that whole Lovecraftian thing, but it's this really, really great balance of comedy and horror and drama, which I think is a very difficult line to walk, and I don't think I've seen it done as well as in that. You know, webcomics are generally thought of being something that's quite humorous, right? And there are a lot of really good ones that are about, you know, like social issues and, you know, horror or like, you know, continuity-driven like plot type things. And so when we say webcomic, we often think of that kind of thing, you know, like the penny arcades or the XKCDs. And, you know, though both of those are quite enjoyable comics, it's really, really nice to see something with a narrative focus that's so just so well put together and well done, you know. Like, I really, really like Brood Hollow. I feel like I'm getting close to having lapped the statue. But I might only be halfway around. Oh, I remember this. There's a big gate, and the key he gave me was to the gate. But now that I've talked to the bum, I'm just going to go up to the top and sneak into the top of the tower. Because I want to find an access computer where I can use the password that I picked off that data cube. Okay, so I've just climbed up all of these crates, and I'm back to where we were before when our voice on the internet told me I'd had a good idea. Oh, man, it had been a solid like 2 minutes since I'd last quick saved, and I was really worried that hit wasn't going to take him down. Like I said, that's probably the most consistently frustrating thing about the game, is that you'll hit someone and they won't actually go down. It's like, I totally hit you in the back. Ah, shit, there's more than one guy here. Bang! People talk... Alright, let's hide here. Alright. Jesus, how close is this guy gonna get? I hope he doesn't walk through the fucking door, because this is a terrible hiding spot.
Uh-oh.
So that was about as bad as it could have gone. Oh, is that gun going to shoot at me? Or does an alarm have to go off? I think if a camera sees me, and I think that whirring is a camera. So I can hack this, or I can just sneak around it. I think I'm going to hack it. There we go. Whew. Okay. I forgot about this. You can just sit at a drink fountain and just drink over and over again until you healed up. But you know, this is a pain in the ass, and I have sodas and stuff for a reason. So I'm gonna check out my health. Yeah, look at my head and my leg. I'm gonna eat all my stuff. So I'm gonna drink a 40 to heal for 2 points. Eat a candy bar for 2 points. Wow, this is a lot less good than I remember it being. Ugh, guys, I'm so drunk. This is exactly what being drunk is like. Alright. I'm gonna hack this ATM. This is one of the cool things that you could do if you use a computer. It's totally ethical, totally 100% on the level. Just hack into the ATM and withdraw people's money. $100 richer, some poor schmuck is $100 poorer. So there's Gunter. Bang. Take that. Alright, let's get Gunter out of here. And we get to do the awesome thing. NSF001. Smash the state. Yeah, alright. Off. No, off. Door access unlocked. I really hope I didn't just shoot Gunter a couple of times. So we're getting close to the end, guys. Just double check my... yeah, I've done all my secondary goals. Time to head on up. And deal. with the commander of these patriots. Okay, here we go. Okay. Let's use a crossbow. That sounds scary enough. I'm getting a whole bunch of points that I could be spending on stuff. Yeah, look at all my points! Could have spent it on... well, not much of anything, really, but I could have. Ah, sweet. An augment can.
Don't shoot. I surrender.
So you think you know better than FEMA what to do with this month's ambrosia shipment?
You're too late. It's on its way back to the people, and you can't do a damn thing about it.
Tell me about the shipment, and I'll order the troops to pick you up as a prisoner instead of a corpse.
Ask away. We already won this round.
Where are you taking it?
We're just giving ordinary people the same chance to survive as the bureaucrats in Washington.
You'll have to unload in New York because the choppers would spot you at sea.
I think the government made the plague on purpose to get rid of the population growth.
Well done. I will pass on your orders to the troopers. Report back to base on the west side of the island. Mission complete.
So there we go, ladies and gents, and, well, folks. Level 1 of Deus Ex. It's all very stealthy and stuff like that. We haven't done a big conversation segment. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with it, and I hope that you enjoyed joining me on this fun tour through the video games of the year 2000. And now everyone is dead, and I can't loot any of them.